Welcome back, ink drinkers, to our second and final episode for Listen for the Lie, where we are going to cover the second half of this book. So, chapters 25 through 54, um, diving into Lucy and all of these characters to figure out what really happened to Savvy.
When we last left Lucy, we had just gotten the grandma interview.
Yes.
And she had told Ben about her suspicions of Matt, Lucy's ex-husband, and how she kind of got the ick from almost the beginning and had actually tried to stop Lucy from marrying him. And we did learn a little bit before that their marriage wasn't all that great, and
No.
he was physically abusing her. So grandma was on it.
Yes, she was.
And we're kind of still he's kind of in the mix for our suspects at the moment. And now, like, jumping into chapter 25, we're with grandma and mom and Lucy at grandma's. And they're talking about the aftermath of this interview being posted.
Yeah.
And I love grandma. She
I love
is
Beverly.
so funny. She is my kind of person.
Yes, she is. I love her because she gives zero shits at this age in life about what people think about her. She doesn't care because Kathleen's all up in arms. Like, he could sue you for what you said. Like, basically, you and Ben just implied that he could have, killed Savvy. And she's like, I don't care. He's a bad person. He deserves, to be called out for what he's done.
And Lucy backs her up on that. She's like, you can't be sued for telling the truth. And it's just such an interesting, like, juxtaposition. You can tell Lucy was very much raised probably primarily by her grandmother.
Yeah.
She, it's probably that she spent a lot of time with grandma and a little bit like rebelling against her mom.
Yeah.
But the mom's first instinct, Kathleen, is to protect the man. She even says men say shit and it doesn't mean anything. And it's like, no, they should also be held accountable for what they say and what they do. And it just feels so hypocritical, even though she's been doing that with her husband for years because he's been having affairs and it's not really well hidden.
No.
And Lucy's like, are you seriously like upset if I talk about dad's affairs? And she's like, yeah. Don't. That's my business.
It's just, oof, yeah. Love Beverly, not a big fan of Kathleen at all.
And you wonder how that came to be. We were kind of discussing this earlier about how did Beverly raise Kathleen? And it's like, well, maybe Beverly's mother was really involved in Kathleen's upbringing. Maybe she was just really influenced by Southern belle culture. We don't really know, but it seems, this rebellious streak kind of skipped a generation to Lucy.
It sure did. So we get after this little interlude between, the three women here, we see Lucy going to the Blue Bonnet bar and meeting Ben there. And as she's on her way there, she's kind of like reminiscing about how back when, 5 years ago, she had wanted revenge somewhat on Matt. He was not our ideal husband. And Savvy and Lucy had been talking about, plotting his murder. Lucy more of the let's just like have the conversation, probably as like a stress relief situation. Savvy was definitely more serious about it. But when she meets Ben at this bar, he's drinking Cosmos.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate him though, because he said that it's weird to gender drinks. And I'm like, this is so true. Drink what you want to drink.
He's like, it's tasty. Why does it matter? Good for you, Ben.
Good for you. But as they're sitting just kind of hanging and chatting, nothing really big's happening between the two of them necessarily. But you kind of look over, they glance over and they see Nina. There's just like, it almost seems like a bachelorette party, but it really wasn't. It was just like a group of girls night. Yeah, like a girls' night hanging out. And they see Nina throwing back drinks like
Mhm.
crazy, which doesn't fit the image that we had previously of her because when Lucy went to have dinner
Yes.
with Nina and Emmett at their house, they were very much like, yeah, we're not a drinking household. Like we can offer you X, Y, and Z, but we don't have any alcohol.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so that kind of raised a little bit of a red flag for me.
Yeah, I'm like, she's not exactly what she seems.
Yeah.
Um, when Lucy, a little bit before that, so when Lucy is doing the reminiscing you were talking
Yeah.
about, like there's a she's kind of like thinking through the conversation about that her and Savvy had
Hmm.
about their relationship. And I thought it was really interesting. I noted down that Savvy specifically points out that when women try to leave, that's when men kill them.
Yeah.
So that's why she's not suggesting that Lucy just leave
Leave.
because it's so dangerous. So her pointing that out, I thought was an important point, and I think that that also points to something potentially that she went through,
Hmm.
like her knowing that, and like she doesn't say the normal things people would say,
Yeah.
like, why don't you leave? Or, you know, we can make a plan for you to get out of there, or whatever. She's like, he might try to kill you, so
Hmm.
we need to get him first. And it makes me question even harder why she left college.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of just something that like tugged at my brain while I was
Hmm.
reading it. And then we kind of get this like romance subplot
Yeah.
between Lucy and Ben. So you see their interaction, you're like, I thought this was like a murder book. Like I didn't realize we were gonna get a relationship in the middle of it.
We're getting a little flirty flirt.
Well, and I don't know. This makes me a little suspicious of Ben.
Yeah.
Because like she's a potential murderer. You're investigating this case and you're kind of turned on by that. Like, where are we going here?
Hey, everybody's got their kinks, right?
That is true. That's true. But yeah, then Nina felt like super suspicious to me because it's like
Yes.
you don't drink at all, but you're taking them like a champ.
Hmm.
I think it feels nice that like she has people in her corner like Nina and Emmett, but
Hmm.
also now I'm like, you're obviously faking something. And Nina, if she's doing this on girls' night and not with Emmett, does Emmett know that these things
Yeah.
happen, or what is she hiding?
Yeah. Well, and she got very unsettled too because Nina came over when she had glanced Lucy, but didn't really realize who she was sitting with. And when
Mm-hmm.
she got over there and realized it was Ben, like her demeanor changed. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, what part of the interview, or was there a second interview? Like, what are we not seeing between them that changes how she's reacting to him as well? There was just a lot that happened in this like momentary
Yeah.
that I was just like, should I be reading more into Nina than I originally was? But after this confrontation, not confrontation, just in
Conversation.
conversation
Mm-hmm.
encounter, um, they walk out of the bar, Lucy and Ben, and she like leans up against the bar and has her phone out, and he's like, "What are you doing? Didn't you drive here?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm calling an Uber." And he's like, "You had
Mm-hmm.
2 drinks." She's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I cannot drive home. Like, I know myself. Like,
And she said
lightweight."
that multiple times that she's a
Mm-hmm.
lightweight and she can't handle her liquor. So we know that, you know, we brought this up before. Like, was she always like this, or is this because
Mm-hmm.
of that night that she doesn't drink anymore, where she doesn't, it like makes her sick or
Yeah.
has more of an effect on her? I wish we knew more about that.
Yeah.
But they go outside. He offers to drive her
Yep.
home. They go outside, and Matt is in the parking lot and starts like yelling at Ben. And
Yeah.
so Ben finally gets to actually see and experience the nasty
Mm-hmm.
side of Matt. And he actually puts hands on Ben, and
Yep.
Ben's like, chill out. He wants to record this. Like
Yep.
Ben is excited about this.
Yep.
Again, my little weird antenna is like, you are not all right in the head either, my dude.
No.
Nothing too drastic happens. There is a punch, but there's not,
Mhm.
they don't like really seriously injure each
No.
other, and things kind of break up. But he does get some audio
Yes, he
recording,
does.
and that isn't going to work in Matt's favor.
No, it's not. It is not. It is going to seal the deal a little bit more on his character for
Mm-hmm.
sure. So Lucy decides to go back to the hotel room.
It was supposed to be a ride home, but he's like, "Hey, do you want to come over for a little
You want to
bit?
have another drink?
Here's that romantic subplot here. Maybe this is
Mm-hmm.
something on his bucket list. I need to date a murderer." Mm.
Yeah. So they go back to his hotel room for a drink after this encounter, and he actually asks her like if they can do a quick recording of like her reaction to it and everything for the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
which I found kind of interesting.
Yeah. And also like she kind of like talks about like, I can't believe you wanted to record that, or like that
Yeah,
was your first thought. Um and he says something to, she's like, you could have just like walked away. You didn't
yeah,
need to engage him. And he's like, well, where's the fun in that? So like on the one hand, I can understand like ratings and things like that and wanting to pull people in, and a good telling a good story
yeah.
as from his point of view on a podcast like that. But at the same time, he gets this weird I don't know.
Yep,
It feels like there's something extra to the thrill for me.
yep. And the rest of this chapter we can just leave under the sheets.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is with Ben, he is convinced it's Matt.
Yes, he is at this
He's
point.
very much convinced that Matt killed Sappy, and but after all of this, I'm not so sure that it was Matt. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I think Matt's a bad guy. He did lots of
Yes,
bad things. I'm not going to completely write him off, but one, as a person that's read a ton of mysteries,
yes.
he seems too
He's
obvious
too
now.
obvious.
I do think he knows more than he has
Hmm.
said, or at least he thinks he knows more, or something. There's something else there that we don't
I
know.
definitely think he could still be involved in some sort of way, but I don't think he's the actual perpetrator.
Exactly. And so I'm like on the fence about him. But yes, the rest of the chapter is, we'll just let fade to black.
Yep.
it doesn't, but here we're going to keep it somewhat family friendly.
We don't need to go through the blow by blow there. I will say that the next morning in this next chapter, I wrote down that this felt really random and kind of out of place. They wake up and have a safe sex talk. She was like, "I can't believe you didn't have a condom." Blah blah blah, and or no, he said that. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't have a condom." She's like, "Don't worry, I'm on the pill," and I'm like,
That's not the only thing a condom prevents. And also, you don't know this dude.
yeah, it just
Like,
I'm like, and I know alcohol was involved, and I know the fight got their adrenaline running and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just like, poor choices were definitely made, and
mhm.
it just felt unnecessary. It just felt weird and unnecessary. They're out of place for this particular novel, but
Partially, like, I can kind of see it because it reinforces that Lucy does not seem to make good decisions.
this is true.
She doesn't seem to like truly think things through,
Hmm.
or even when she does have that like inner conscious like thought, like,
Hmm.
oh, I probably shouldn't do this, she kind of disregards it.
Yeah,
So I can see maybe not the safe, knowing that I guess that it was unsafe reinforces that a little bit. I don't know that they needed to have, she could have thought, oh shit,
yeah.
in her brain, but like I just wrote down, it doesn't seem like she makes any good decisions.
She's so rash.
She is. And then they talk about the next, he kind of like alludes to the next podcast
Yes,
clip,
yes, yes, yes.
which is an interview with Savvy's little sister Maya, which
Hmm.
we opened with her,
Yes.
and we got that little clip at the beginning of episode 1 where
Hmm.
Maya describes Savvy.
Hmm.
And now we're going to get a little bit more from her. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
Yeah. In this interview, we get her opinion of the Savvy and Matt relationship because there was alluded to that possibly Savvy and Matt were having a relationship behind Lucy's back, and her sister quickly was like, absolutely not. Like Savvy
Mhm.
hated Matt, and reminisced on a time when she I wanna say she was watching a movie or a true crime. No, Dateline. It was a
Mhm.
Dateline thing.
That makes sense.
That's what it was. And she hinted at, like, watching this or whatever. She's like, "Yeah, that's not how it happens. They never get away with it, blah, 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 or they always get away with
Mhm.
it." And she had hinted at that Matt was abusive towards Lucy to
Mhm.
her, and that outward appearances could be deceiving. And so it was really eye-opening that you can see that how close she was with her little sister. You
Mhm.
know, she had that relationship with Lucy. Lucy knew the true her. So now I'm wondering how much Maya really knows about her true character because everybody has told us that Savvy was and even Beverly has said it too,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
so, yes, Savvy could be putting on that outward persona. You know, the people that are closest to you in life know the true you. You don't show that to everybody. That would
Mhm.
be um, kind of unsettling, I think, I mean, personally for me, if I showed 100% me to every person out there in the entire world, like automatically, I think that would be a little bit too much for me
Mhm.
to handle. So it makes sense, but you know, we got this idea that she was perfect and sweet and bubbly and all this kind of stuff that she didn't have this other side to her. And we see here that she shared her true side with her sister too.
Yeah, we get to see that Savvy hated Matt.
Mhm.
And so I wrote down here another wild theory because I was like, Maya kind of makes clear how much Savvy hated
Yeah.
Matt. Like it wasn't just like, oh my god, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
It was like deep seated hate, which I understand. But part of me also was like, did Savvy have an interest in Lucy? Could that be possible? And like that, because we talked about a jealousy plot
Yeah.
earlier, and it's like, could that be a jealousy plot? And
Mhm.
maybe something happened where she was trying to take Lucy away from Matt, and Matt could have flown off the handle, and that could have happened. Like,
Yeah.
could that be something?
Yeah.
Um, but I love that we get to hear somebody else not like Matt besides Grandma, because
Mhm.
everybody else is like, "Oh, he's such a great guy. He's the best," and it's like,
Yeah.
no, he's
Yep.
not.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about this particular clip that we didn't mention is that this Ben let Lucy listen to the unedited version of this one.
Yes. Mhm.
And so then Lucy kind of tells him like, "Hey, can you like cut all of the abuse line out of it before you post it?"
Which I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
Like her asking him to cut out all the stuff about how Matt was abusive.
Mhm.
Like, why is what I want to know. Is it to
Mhm.
protect Matt? Is it to protect herself? Is it like, oh well, she's suspected of murder, so now she's crying wolf, and we know Matt, he's such a great guy, and there's nobody that's going to believe her. Remember, the truth
Mhm.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested, like I wish we're in her head. I wish we
Yeah.
got more of that thought process
Yeah.
of why she really wanted it out of there,
Mhm.
because it is true. Not that she could even really substantiate it, because it seems like she didn't go to the
Yeah.
hospital a lot, or there obviously weren't any police reports. And whether she did or not, because I'm not entirely convinced that she did fight back.
Right.
Um, but she thinks, well, I was a participant in it as well, and so it doesn't matter.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's one of the parts that hesitates her a lot is that she's still convinced that if that gets out there, he would say, "Well, she was abusive too." I really
Mhm.
do think that's part of the part that like really hesitates her.
Because people don't like her and
Mm-mm.
she knows it. People are not subtle about the fact that they
No,
do not like her,
no.
and they are not subtle about the fact that they like him and they think
Mm-hmm.
that she's not good enough for him or he was too good for her or whatever.
Yeah,
So I like, I get it, but I don't get it, you know?
yeah. But listening to this podcast makes Lucy take a little 5-hour trip to go visit Maya in person.
Yes, which I thought was very interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
her first reaction was, I'm going to drive to, I think, Houston
Yes, I think so.
to go visit the sister, which she does not like Lucy in
No.
any way, shape, or form. And Lucy knows that. She doesn't want to have anything to do with her.
Mm-mm.
And so to have that much of a reaction,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what is going on here?
Yep.
Why does she need
Yes.
to go?
Yeah. Well, she said that she knows Savvy's darkest secret.
Which we all know that we don't know everything
No,
about her.
we
And
sure don't.
I'm like, it has to be the thing. It has to be the thing that moved her from college.
Mm-hmm. And the last line in this chapter
Mm-hmm.
is, "I killed a dude and I'm not sorry."
Well,
That
that would be a good reason to leave
would be a
town.
really great reason to leave college.
So if so I feel like this is going in the direction I predicted, and
Yes.
either she had an abusive boyfriend or something happened to her at a party because she talked about
Yep.
partying a lot or something of that nature, and there was a guy that did too much,
Mm-hmm.
and either she tried to leave him and something bad happened and she ended up killing him, or something like that.
Yeah.
So now I need to know more. Obviously Lucy knows, and she's going to see if Maya knows or to talk to Maya about it. I'm like, okay, we can't just cut this chapter here. Let's go. I think I started reading this at like 1 a.m. and I was like, I can do a little bit more. That's something about this book I will say, is that
Yeah.
I was devouring it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, okay, the chapters are short. After the next chapter I'll lay down, and then something would happen and I couldn't. It was like I had to really make myself put it down.
Yeah. Um, a couple more chapters in, and I I had stopped. I think I stopped somewhere around like chapter 30 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked the book back up the next night. And I looked at my husband at one point and I was like, I should really go to bed now because I had been reading since
Yeah.
chapter 30. And he goes, if you're enjoying it, just keep reading. I finished the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. You just keep binging.
Mm-hmm.
But we get a Lucy 5 years ago here.
Yes.
And ding, 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 Savvy confesses to
Mm-hmm.
murdering a man. We learn
So,
about Troy.
and it seems nobody else knows about Troy.
No.
And it is kind of what I suspected.
Mm-hmm.
So she admits, she kind of recounts what happens, and she's at a bar
Yep.
and she's been drinking and she's in the bathroom. Or she agrees to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom with somebody, and he gets like super handsy with her,
Yep.
and she like ends up trying to like get out of it
Mm-hmm.
and ends up stabbing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like a couple of times, enough
Enough.
enough um so she stabbed him to death. And I'm like, okay, so here's where my crazy brain goes,
I love your crazy brain though. Tell me.
because my then I'm like, okay, so if nobody knows about this Troy thing, does it have something to do with her death? Does Ben know Troy? Is he from Troy's life? And then he comes in and that's why he took this case. Like grandma said something and he's like, oh my gosh. He looks into this savvy girl and realizes she was there at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, and
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, maybe this has something.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Could this be a repercussion? And then her death had something to do with the dude she killed, or is this just like showing that she has murderous
Murderous
tendencies.
tendencies.
And now that this would be her second time trying to kill somebody, or successfully planning to
Mhm.
kill somebody, this is more premeditated than it
Yes.
seems. At least what Savvy tells us, this was very not premeditated. It was heat of the moment. She was getting attacked,
Mhm.
basically, and was defending herself, and then overly defended herself.
Yep, sure
Um,
did.
I'm trying to think back because I don't have a note on it. Maybe you
Yeah.
do. If she says what happened to his body.
Uh-huh, yeah, she put it in the swamp for the crocodile dillies to eat, and
How did he get there? Like, did she say
she
she
put it
could?
in her trunk,
Okay.
and described how it was not very easy to get his body in the trunk. Yeah,
Okay.
she had a dead body in her trunk.
Yeah, I did not write that down.
I did.
That feels
Tiny
important.
woman,
So she
grown ass man stabbed to death in her trunk.
she definitely took care of it herself, and
She did.
nobody ever seemed to be the wiser.
No. No, no, no. So we've got that little flashback, and then Maya and Lucy have a little conversation. Now, Maya does not want to have this conversation at first.
Lucy ambushes her outside of her place of work.
Yeah. She just waits in her car until Maya comes out, and she's like, "Sup?" And Maya's like,
Fuck off.
mm-hmm.
She's like, I don't
Yes.
want to talk to you.
Yes. But finally was like, "Hey, like, I need to talk to you about Troy." And she's like, the man your sister killed? And she's like, "She told you his name?"
And so it seems like she told Lucy absolutely everything
Yes.
without holding back anything, but she did try to somewhat
Protect
protect
her
her
sister.
sister.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, the fact that Savvy trusted Lucy with this information,
Mm-hmm.
plus the fact that Lucy also looked into Troy's death
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like tried to follow that lead to see if
Yep.
something was connected, like
Yeah.
I just thought about.
Yes.
um Kind of seems to change Maya's mind
Mm-hmm.
about Lucy.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was gonna say too, is that like when all of this happened and she had moved, when Lucy moved away from home, she hired that PI and very much had kind of a similar brainwave that you did. Is
Mm-hmm.
there some sort of connection between Savvy's death and Troy? Did somebody finally figure out that it was her and somebody came after her? Um, and we find out from Lucy's digging with this PI that he's still missing. The case is still open. And until her private eye went and talked to Troy's sister didn't even know he was missing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this guy must have been a real piece of shit if your own sister doesn't
Mm-hmm.
know after all these years that you're not around.
Well, and then who reported him missing? Maybe work? I don't know. Like, so
Oof.
Troy is not well missed. But we kind of get that there seems to be at least a little bit of a truce
Yeah.
between Maya and Lucy from
Yeah.
Maya's side. Lucy didn't ever seem to really have any animosity towards her.
Yeah.
But they kind of like leave it there, and
Mhm.
Lucy's like, okay. Lucy tells Maya, I don't plan on revealing this. This
Yes.
is Savvy's secret.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say anything about it in this podcast or whatever. This is irrelevant. I already looked into it. It has nothing to do with her murder.
Yeah.
And Maya says too that her parents um, had hired private eyes before to like
Mhm.
look into things, and obviously they don't know about Troy, but like they nothing has been dug up. So I think they kind of feel like that's been put to rest
Mhm.
and it's over with.
It's gonna stay there. Yeah. On her trip back into town, she stops at Matt's house.
Again, the woman can't make a good decision. She
No.
wouldn't know a good decision if it smacked her in the face.
Mm-mm.
But Matt isn't there.
No, he is.
I thought it was Julia is there.
Yeah, but he's inside this time because the first time she was there, he
Mm,
wasn't. So this time he's inside. He's drunk and like belligerent or whatever, but she does run into Julia coming out of the house getting more of her things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who they run into. She doesn't have an encounter with Matt this time, but she
Yeah.
just sees Julia there. And they kind of like, this is where I got a little bit of the creep factor or whatever, because they look very similar to each other, Julia and Lucy.
Well, and you can tell. So it seems like Matt didn't really think it through his decision to divorce Lucy
Mm-mm.
or to throw her out or any of that, because it seems like he tried to recreate that with Julia.
Mm-hmm.
He never tried to fix his relationship with
Nope.
Lucy, but he tried to find a woman that was basically Lucy from Timu.
Yeah.
And she I mean, not saying that she's like less, but you know what I mean. To
Yes,
him,
I love that.
it's like the knockoff version, right? And so um, we see her coming out with her stuff, and she's frazzled, and she wants to somewhat talk to Lucy, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, we should talk about these things." Like,
We have a shared experience.
I he's said some things about you,
Mm-hmm.
which perked my ears up. Like, what has he
Yeah,
said?
what has he said?
What I'm like, go have a coffee, please, because
Uh-huh.
I need to know.
Seriously. Or a drink.
And you can tell, like, with this, that Lucy, like, this interaction, that Lucy is still traumatized by their marriage,
Yeah.
because she doesn't really want to engage with
Mm-mm.
her. She doesn't want to engage with Julia, and because she doesn't really want to drag all of that up. It
Yeah.
seems like she's still kind of like hesitant.
Yeah.
So then we go into a podcast clip of the second bonus episode. Remember, the structure has kind of changed. He
Mm-hmm.
said, "I'm getting so much information. I want to post things in real time." And it's an interview with Julia.
Yeah, because during this encounter between them in front of the house, she's like, I want to meet Ben. Like, can we do this?
Mhm.
And so Lucy introduced them, and we get a lot of background here from Julia, um, with the marriage and things that have been said. Just so, I mean, this woman was ready to just spew.
It makes me a little upset, though. Not at Julia, at Lucy, because she had him cut all the abuse stuff out of
Mm-hmm.
her episode, right? Of
Yes.
the episode where he does the thing with Maya and they talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But this corroborates all
Yep.
of that. Julia talks about how charismatic and how, like,
Yeah.
she was like basically love bombed by
Mm-hmm.
Matt. And then his mask started to slip
Yeah.
and he started drinking. And mind you, their marriage did not last very long. She did
Mm-mm.
not put up with this for a long time.
No.
And she really goes there about the abuse. And she talks about the fact that he tried gaslighting her into thinking that she hit him back,
Yep.
which makes me think, did Lucy actually start fighting back? Did
Mm-hmm.
he convince her she started fighting back?
Right.
Or did he tell her that she hit him enough that she actually did start hitting him? Like, I don't believe that. And with so much of her memory and her mind,
Mm-hmm.
like, in question, we already have seen her put together memories from other people's
Yeah.
retellings to her. And she talked about how often her head was banged off of things
Oh
during
my
the
gosh.
abuse.
Yes.
Could he have gaslit her into thinking that she participated when she didn't really
Mm-hmm.
participate?
Yeah.
But I also think, because we talked about Julia
Yep.
and how she said that he talked about Lucy. He
Uh-huh.
said nice things about Lucy and
Yes.
basically negged Julia and was like, "Why aren't you like her? She
Mm-hmm.
was this, she was so great, she was this, she was that."
Yep.
And it's just like, you realize either he is idealizing her
Yep.
in his mind now that she's gone, or with guilt glasses or something.
Yeah.
But it's
Mm.
just wild to me that he was like nice about her to his second one.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where did that come from?
I don't know. Yeah, but it's heartbreaking that, Lucy still seems to want to not necessarily protect him, but not want to be open about how she was treated by him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he admits to Julia that he still loves Lucy, whatever. And he made one time a drunken comment to her that he should have protected her better. And she asked about, like, what do you mean protected her better? Like, during your
Mhm.
marriage, after, like, what do you mean? And he said, no, that night I should have protected her better. And so my brain started going, were you there?
Mhm.
Were you involved? I still, and this kind of clues me in a little bit more. He knows more than he's telling.
He does. And like you said, protection from what?
Mhm.
And like it has to be something. We need more.
Yeah.
And so I need another flashback. But of course we don't get it.
Nope, we don't. Not yet. Ugh. So after this bonus episode drops,
Mhm.
people start reaching out to Lucy after hearing
Mhm.
about Matt's behavior towards her and Julia. And can I tell you, I really just wanted to like shake a couple people and like Three Stooges knock heads together
Yeah.
because, like, how dare they?
Yeah, I wrote down, wow, do people actually care about her now? I'd want to tell everyone to F off except for grandma.
Yep.
Because grandma seemed to obviously care about her through the whole thing, but like she doesn't Lucy doesn't come out and say that she was abused,
No.
right? She had that all cut out. But when they hear what he did to Julia,
Hmm.
they're like, well, would make sense that he did it to her too. If he did
Yeah.
it to one, he probably did it to the other one. And now they're like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. And it's nauseating. And it's like,
Oh, it's so
you just
frustrating.
assumed because he was this likable, charismatic guy that he was so great. And because she's a little cold and standoffish
Hmm.
and doesn't take anybody's crap, that
Right.
she's terrible and that there wasn't a reason for
Yeah.
any of it. And so all of these people coming out of the woodwork are
Hmm.
terrible. And now they're starting to think, well, maybe she's not as bad as I thought. Maybe she was being abused. And
Yeah.
it's like, that changes everything. Don't get me wrong, it's like a huge thing, but like
Yeah.
that completely changes your opinion of me. Mm, I don't want your sympathy. That's where I
No,
would be.
I no, really don't. And then we get, um, oh, we get mad at Lucy's parents' house too.
Well, and so one other thing, I think a decision I would have made differently is I would have talked to Julia if I was
Oh
Lucy.
yeah.
She got out before the gaslighting really set in,
Mhm.
and I would bet that Lucy didn't hit him either, but he told her that she did. So
Mhm.
I think, I don't know about you guys, if you were in Lucy's shoes, if you would have talked to her, but I probably would have, to like kind of compare notes
Yeah.
and see where things might have been different. I'm glad for Julia that she got out early before
Mhm.
she had repeated head injuries, hopefully. But as Lucy, I think that would have
Oh,
driven me
100%.
crazy.
100%.
Um, and the fact that everybody's asking her about it, like her mom and stuff, and she
Mhm.
lies. She's like,
Mhm.
no, I didn't have the same
I didn't have the
experience
same experience.
as Julia. And the
Probably had
mom
it worse, lady.
the mom makes me so angry. Like she is all about protecting him and like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, good, and all those types of things and like
Well,
covering it up.
she even said at one point, Kathleen even said at one point, like, they lived so close to us. We would have known if he was that way with our daughter. And I'm like,
But you don't believe her that she didn't hurt Savvy. You're not in her corner. You're all about appearances. Like the parents are terrible.
you told Ivy that you were going to fix it
Mhm.
and get to the bottom of Savvy. What? No. I have no faith in that woman whatsoever. Okay, so then we get Matt at Lucy's parents. Um,
Yeah. Not inside Lucy's parents'
no,
house.
no, no, no. He's confronting her. Um,
He like texts her and is like, "Will you come down?"
oh yeah, it was late at night.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. So she goes down to talk to him. I want to say they like sit in his car or something like that,
Or
or
out front,
out
something
front
like that.
something. And and they're kind of like chit chatting, and he wants her to give up like the whole podcast thing or whatever. Like, I'm protecting you or whatever. And she's like, well, tell me who the woman was that you fought with in our driveway the night of the murder. And
Mhm.
he was like, well, don't worry about it. I know she's innocent. She doesn't have anything to do with it. She wasn't there when Savvy died. And I'm like, how do you know she wasn't there when Savvy died? How do you know this?
Well, and he's this whole encounter is weird. It's late at night. It's out in front of her parents' house. He thanks her, like he has gratitude
Blah,
about her not saying things about
blah.
their relationship,
I
and
can't
he
stand him.
forces like a kiss on her, like he like forces himself on her.
I can't stand this man.
Um, and that's disgusting. Like, don't I would be like, get the f away from me! Don't touch me.
I wouldn't have had this conversation with this man in the first place if I was Lucy, but we know Lucy doesn't make good
That's true.
choices. So here we are.
And finding out that the person that
Mm.
was in the driveway was Nina, and we now know that she's a drinker, and Matt's a drinker. Here we are. And he was suspected of having affairs. We know that.
Yeah.
So, um, and during this conversation, I I wrote down also, did we know that Savvy dropped him off? And I was like, I feel like they said that, but I think I got confused in the middle. Um, like he dropped him off at home because remember he was dropped off at home and then he was picked up, or this woman confronted him and then he drove off.
Mm-hmm.
So did Savvy tell Nina what was going on with Matt, and then Nina
Mm.
confronted Matt about it?
Mm.
Maybe because remember Nina and Lucy were high school friends.
Yeah, they were.
They weren't as close then, but would she have had like a fight, like what the fuck, what are you
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
to this woman, and could my other thing along with the affairs is, could he be Nina's kid's father or the father of one of her
One of
kids,
them, yeah.
because she is divorced, but
Mm-hmm.
if they had an affair, could that
Have led to the
mhm.
divorce. Yeah.
Nina's divorce, obviously not
Yeah.
Matt and
Not
Lucy's.
Matt and Lucy's. Yeah. Lucy decides to do an interview with Ben to kind of corroborate a little bit Julia's previous interview from the bonus episode. And she says that her relationship was different than that of Julia's.
Mhm.
Doesn't admit to the full abuse, but does say like they didn't have a good marriage.
Right.
Now, off the record, because Ben pushes her, once the
Mhm.
recording is done, Ben pushes her. She does admit to the abuse that Matt, not the extent of it, but that
Yeah.
he was abusive towards her,
Mhm.
just to Ben. So at least we see her. I mean, I don't know how much I love the relationship between her and Ben, but at least we see like some of that chipping away. I kind of wish it was more towards Beverly that she was giving this information, but here we are.
Mhm.
Love grandma. And then Ben talks a little bit with her about his perception of her. Because like before meeting her in person, right?
Mhm.
Here, now, and her like I don't give a fuck kind of manner, and
Mhm.
the way that she just says it how it is, the way she holds herself and everything, like he's getting to see her for who she puts herself out to be, right?
Mhm.
And everything else that he's gotten before this has been solidly people's perceptions of her,
Mhm.
and pictures of her from when she was younger,
Yeah.
and how they are so different.
Mhm.
And I kind of appreciated that because I was like, okay, like I get it. Like he is an investigative journalist
Yeah.
for a lack of better, because true crime podcasting. But I really appreciated that he was at least being introspective enough on that kind of aspect
Mhm.
to be separating the person he's getting to know and understand from the image of her
Yeah.
that the town has made.
Very true. And it also potentially shows how the event changed Lucy,
Mm-hmm.
or just how different somebody's perception of you and the real
Yeah.
you is, which
Yeah.
also applies to Savvy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they spend another night together,
Fade to black.
and the next morning they wake up to Paige, his assistant, banging on the door. And Paige comes in, like, finally gets in and base basically berates Ben
Yep.
and is like, "You're an idiot. This could ruin everything.
Yep.
You fraternizing with the murder suspect looks
Mm-hmm.
awful.
Yep.
This
If
is
people find out.
this is the stupidest decision."
Yeah.
Um, she says something to Lucy. She
Mm-hmm.
says, "We aren't giving you a heads up about what's coming," which means they have stuff coming up that makes her look bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I am very interested into how this goes, and also, or what they have. And also, if he has stuff that makes her look bad and he's still sleeping with her, like, my creepometer went up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more. But what what are we gonna get? And then we jump in to a podcast clip.
Also, clearly he didn't tell her that she got to preview the Maya episode.
That is also true.
Just saying. But yeah, we get episode 6 titled Nina.
Well,
Well, so we get Colin Dunn, remember the then boyfriend of Savvy from 5 years ago, his perspective of Nina. And it's shallow, just like Colin. Um,
mm-hmm.
I knew of her. We hung out a couple times. What does that mean? I'm wondering. I'm sorry because
Mm-hmm.
he's known for having an open relationship with Savvy and for being a guy of the town.
And it seems like Nina has
My
the same reputation,
Yep.
that she got around town, and she might also have been an affair partner with Colin. Nina is really starting to look like a potential suspect.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't really know what her motive would be, but she's getting more suspicious by the second. And we also find out that she was sleeping with Matt
Yep.
and possibly knew about their marriage issues.
Yes.
So we know she was in the driveway, and
Yep.
she's the one that had the argument with him. We now have other people confirming that they were having an affair. It's not just like a
Mhm.
suspicion. And if she was there that night, they had a fight, she left, and he left after her.
Mhm.
Did he go after her and know that she had an alibi? Or did she say she found out something from Savvy and he went back to find Savvy and hurt her? How, like,
Was it the two of them together?
could it, dun dun dun, and could they have been wanting to get Savvy and Lucy out of the way so that they could have a further, like, further their relationship, or more solid relationship? We get all of this information in this episode, and then, like, we go back to, like, present day
Yes.
Lucy and stuff. But, like, to me, after all of this coming out, like, Emmett has to be wrecked after those
Oh,
episodes,
poor Emmett.
finding out that his girlfriend, his now girlfriend, I mean, although he's lived in town, so if she has a reputation,
He might
he
know.
has to know that she was, um
Promiscuous?
yes. But we see Lucy talk to him
At the
in the
bar.
bar. And he tells her that Nina does have drinking problems,
Yes.
and that she is actually still sleeping with Matt. And you're like,
I
what?
literally wrote down, what the fuck?
So he's still with her, but she's still having an affair with Matt and still
Mhm.
struggling with the drinking,
Yep.
even though, she keeps, like, getting on the wagon and falling off of it.
Mhm.
And Emmett also kind of suspected
Yeah.
that they were something was going on there.
Yeah.
Um, but we also kind of get, like, this vibe that him and Lucy may have had a thing at one point.
Yeah, there's definitely this, like, flirtatious, like high schooly crush, like, cute little high schooly crush thing between the 2 of them.
And so it's like, okay.
Yeah, and if you remember from our last episode, when Lucy went to see him for the first time since getting back into town, visited him in
Mm.
the art store, she kinda had that thought of, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's the one that got away.
Mhm.
Like, he's probably that guy, like, he was right there the whole time, and I never noticed him."
Mhm.
And so she reminisces about a night that they were at the bar together, and she was married to Matt at the time,
Mhm.
and Emmett leaned in to kissed her, something like that, and she kind of like was like, "No, I can't," yada yada yada,
Mhm.
and didn't leave with him that night,
Mhm.
and she, like, apologizes to him in this moment, like, I kinda wish I had done that because maybe things would have turned out differently for me.
Mhm.
Um, and they have this conversation about, like, "I thought, you would be the one
Mhm.
to leave, why are you still here, Emmett?"
Yeah.
And he
Mhm.
was like, "Yeah, like, I'm really proud of you for leaving, like, what's LA like? What's life like?"
Mhm.
And she's like, "Why don't you when I leave, why don't you come with me?" And I'm like,
Interesting.
things are moving fast. Like, you're sleeping with the guy that thinks you're a possible murderer. Now you're
Mhm.
offering to take, homeboy that's being cheated on.
Yeah.
It's not even a triangle. It's just like a messy, tangled ball of yarn now.
Mhm. And then we see Keaton again.
Oh, God.
So I wrote down, why is Keaton Harper, remember Keaton is Savvy's older
Older brother.
brother. Um, why is Keaton always around Emmett? And again, when you
Hmm.
read a ton of mystery, you're always like, it's somebody small that you've met a couple of times that you don't really suspect. So now
Yes.
I'm like, is Keaton the actual guy? Because he's shown up. The first time he was livid.
Yes.
This time he actually talks to Lucy and is like,
Hmm.
"Hey, I didn't know about that." Like
Talking about the
the abuse
abuse.
with Matt, because that episode has come out.
Hmm.
And like kind
Yeah.
of again, sibling number two has kind of like changed his mind about
Yes.
Lucy and now thinks she might not be guilty. And that's kind of like a turn of
Yeah.
events. So now both of Savvy's siblings have kind of been like, okay, I think you're not guilty. I
Yeah.
don't think you killed my sister, and have kind of let her off the hook, which also I think kind of gives Lucy a little bit of a peace of mind
Yeah.
because those were the people that were closest or like cared the most about Savvy,
Hmm.
and now they kind of believe her. Um, and so she's like, maybe I really didn't do this.
Yeah. Well, and he mentioned that he interviewed with Ben, so I'm kind of curious to see what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because this is clearly he interviewed with Ben before his mind has been changed,
Mm-hmm.
if he's telling her now. Um, and my heart broke a little bit for Keaton in this moment because he's listened to these interviews of Nina and Matt, and he's found out that they both lied about their whereabouts the night that Savvy died.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, everybody in this town lies. Like, who can I believe? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what really happened to my sister? So I don't know. I felt really bad for him. And I understand that in a certain situation like this, like, you look for a person
Yeah.
to put
Mm-hmm.
your anger, your emotions towards,
Mm-hmm.
and he had that person, right? He and his family has for years put that on
Yeah.
Lucy, and hearing all the different things that they're hearing now and realizing that maybe they were a little too fast about that, and
Mm-hmm.
finding out that people around them have not been truthful, especially because he seemed to have been closer with Matt as well. I think they were buddies when they had like moved into town, with the
Mm-hmm.
bar and whatnot, and so not knowing his true nature, it never having
Mm-hmm.
snuck out, was just, I don't know. Like I said, I was a little brokenhearted for Keaton in this moment.
Yeah, like for the whole family, honestly, because you think you have an idea of basically what happened, and you feel like you can put it to rest. Yeah, the person that you think did it didn't get justice, but at least you
Mhm.
feel like you don't understand why, but at least you feel like you have some type of closure. And now this is all being drugged back up, and you're finding out that you don't know what you thought you knew.
Mhm.
And it actually could be Nina, it could be Matt, it could have been Colin because he lied about, you know, I mean, we find out that he
Yeah.
was actually with Kathleen in her car, but like
Mhm.
all of these people didn't say what really happened, and really the truthful
Yeah.
one is the one that everybody thought was lying.
Mhm.
And that would be really hard to be like, to have your world rocked a second time, like this is
Yeah.
like ripping or opening up that scar,
Mhm.
and now everything just feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah. So then we see Ben and Lucy meet up at grandma's. I love that grandma's house has become like the safe place for Lucy to do her interviews.
And it's a tiny house. There's no room there.
No, it
Like,
is.
let's go to my grandma's 2-foot house and like sit there while she drinks her red wine or her vodka or whatever.
Hey, grandma drinks whatever she wants, whenever she wants. And Ben wants to do an interview about Nina, and Lucy really doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want to. And as they are sitting there, Lucy's phone goes off,
Mm-hmm.
and she's thinking it's probably going to be more texts about like people being like, "I'm so sorry about Matt," like, meh, meh, meh.
Mm-hmm.
And she picks it up, and it's actually a notification that the internet has found out that she is Eva Knightley.
Yes, so somebody has figured that out. They so while they're talking about Nina, Lucy kind of reveals that Nina and Savvy didn't like each other.
Mhm.
And so that feels like more motive for Nina.
Mhm.
However, I feel like Nina might not have done it, but she
Mhm.
could have manipulated somebody into doing it,
Yes.
especially Matt. Like if they had this confrontation, if Nina found out somehow about Savvy or overheard Savvy and Lucy having this like plot to kill him? Did she go
Mhm.
there, say, your wife's planning to kill you? And he's like, no, she's not, blah, blah, blah. And then he went to go confront the two
Right?
women about it and something happened. Could she have manipulated him into doing it, um, like out of rage? And then also, there's a mention of Dawn and how her dad and
Mhm.
how he had so many
Oh
girlfriends.
my gosh, yes.
And
Girlfriend of
um
the week or like something like that, revolving door, I don't even know.
and part of me is also like, could I can't remember because I didn't write it down, but is it alluded to that Don could have also slept with Nina? And also, is that why he can't look at Lucy? Because he's like, either
Mm.
I had something to do with Savvy, or maybe I had an affair with Savvy, or maybe I had an affair with Nina, and it's like, I'm very uncomfortable because you were my daughter's friend, but it happened type of thing. Like, it,
God
because we
bless.
never really get an idea of who Don has
Yeah.
had relationships with. It's just that he has had a lot of extramarital relationships. And so it's like, wh- I, I just really want to know why Don is so uncomfortable around her. It can't just be that he thinks that she did it. Anyway, at the chapter, it's like the whole internet knows that I'm the author and this is going to ruin my career.
But hey, episode 6 continues.
Which, remember, is about Nina.
It is. And so we get a little snippet from Nina that she was good friends with Emmett and Lucy during high school.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that she didn't really know Sally.
Which is really interesting because from other
Hmm.
people, both on the podcast and just being with Lucy in her
Yeah.
point of view, they say that they did know each other and that they
Yes.
very much had opinions of each other and did not like
No.
each other at
No.
all.
But then we hear again from Stephanie Gantz, who was on student council together with Savvy. And she knew that Nina and Savvy had a fight over a boy and that Savvy mean girled her in high school. And so clearly Nina is holding some sort of grudge over her.
Yeah, and my opinion, Nina didn't like that Lucy came back to town and then
Mm-hmm.
became really good friends, really close friends with Savvy,
Yes.
because that was her friend. And now Savvy was taking another thing away from
Yes.
her. So then, watching their friendship, did she go and sleep with both of their significant others? Because it definitely sleeping with Matt. And I think there was confirmation, or at least an illusion, that she slept with Colin
Yeah.
to like get back at
Oh no,
them.
there was confirmation. Joanna Clarkson confirmed it.
And so, like, could that have been motive enough for Nina to attack them? Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was holding a grudge from high school over Savvy, and then she felt betrayed by Lucy because she felt like Lucy chose Savvy over
Mm-hmm.
her, and then she tried to make them jealous by
Yeah.
being with their husbands or boyfriends, and that didn't work. And so it escalated. Could that be? I feel like we're finding stronger motives
Yeah.
for Nina.
Childish. Childish behavior.
Yep, but that sometimes
Yes. Yep.
stands the test of time.
It does. So we're seeing internet backlash that Lucy is receiving over her books now because of the correlation between herself and her Eva Knightley name. And she decides to go to Nina's house to have a conversation with her about the night of the wedding.
That is one consistent thing,
Hmm.
the bad choices, but also that she doesn't like to beat around the bush.
No, and she doesn't want
She's
the hearsay of others. She just
mm-mm.
goes straight to the source.
And she is very direct. It's like the first time when she walks into the diner and Ben's there. She doesn't
Hmm.
just like, oh, that's the guy that's doing a pot. She goes over and sits down and talks to him.
Yeah.
And so she goes and talks to Nina, and Nina sucks.
Yep.
She sucks.
She does.
She's not, trying to be sweet or pretend anymore. She's just who she is. And
Hmm.
she doesn't deny the relationship with Matt, but she also um Lucy asks her, was he like disheveled? Was he dirty? And Nina
Hmm.
doesn't deny that. She doesn't confirm it,
Mm-mm.
but she doesn't deny that. And I feel like her just like skipping over that question
Yeah.
means that he was.
Right.
He was either dirty or disheveled or both. So it was
Hmm.
like he must have been there.
Yeah.
And Nina doesn't know enough to like really point a finger at him. She doesn't feel like that's,
Yeah.
even though Nina doesn't seem like she has a great moral compass in the first place, she doesn't feel like she can point a finger at him,
Mm-mm.
but it's kind of like confirmation by omission.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I'm sitting here thinking too is if you were having an affair with Matt when he was married to Lucy and he divorces Lucy and he doesn't go to you, he marries Julia, he's having another affair with you while he's married to Julia, and he's still
Mhm.
not like, can you get the picture here, lady?
Yeah, it's like he has to have this particular type of wife,
Mm-hmm.
but he wants to keep you on the down low or as his side chick,
Yeah.
and you're never front and center. And it seems like she's kind of been put in that place her entire life, especially like Lucy came back and picked the other
Yeah.
girl. Like she's always kind of been second fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know.
Yeah.
She's looking worse and worse all the time.
All the time. So after this little confrontation, Lucy goes to Ben's hotel room.
One thing I did want to point
Oh,
out,
yes.
just at the beginning of this chapter, something I wrote down. It's been a while since she fantasized about murdering anybody.
Yes, it has been.
It's been several chapters where like a while, where she hasn't had a thought like, oh, I could pick up a lamp and
Yep.
bash them over the head. So it feels like those thoughts have kind of escaped her brain now that some of these memories are bubbling back up, which I
Hmm.
think is really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, maybe part of it is that going through and diving into, like a lot of the details
Mm-hmm.
is also helping with that. But they fade to black here.
Mm-hmm. Go
And
figure.
go
If
figure.
if they're in his hotel room at some point, it's gonna happen.
Yep. And in between fade to blacks, she finds his possible theories
He has
for the.
papers laying out,
Mhm.
and she actually starts looking, and he has several endings
Yes.
written.
Yes. And a few of them are like a sentence, real short, like not
Mhm.
much to them. His most detailed theory, though, is Lucy being the murderer. And this really upsets her. And she kind of
Wouldn't
confronts him.
it
Yeah.
bother you?
Yes. And she confronts him about it. And he's like, I haven't looked at those in forever. That was when I was first starting the podcast. Like, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm still investigating. I don't think it was you. And then as he's like going through this, her murderous thoughts come back for the first time. And
Mhm.
she's like envisioning the way she would kill him. And it's kind of brutal.
Mhm.
And he's like, "What do you do?" He confronts her. He's like, "What are you doing when you do that? When you look like that?" And she just straights up like, "I'm thinking about killing you."
Mhm. And that kind of like shocks him a little bit.
Mhm.
She says she can see it on his face that he's like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
oh God."
Uh-huh.
And she's just like used to it, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah, he doesn't he doesn't r- shy all the way away from her,
Mm-mm.
but he's like, "Yeah, that okay,
Okay.
interesting."
Uh-huh. And before we get a conclusion to the scene, it dives right into episode 7, The Truth About Lucy,
Yes.
where we have Beverly being interviewed some more. Grandma.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Yeah, I set up you guys meeting at the diner." God love her. I love her.
Mhm.
Um, and she talks about how Lucy has never been interviewed about Savvy. That everything that she has recounted has been told through her parents or the police
Mhm.
or just never straight from her mouth. And um, so we hear that she's able to recount the day leading up,
Mhm.
and this is from Lucy for the first time.
Yeah, so we get the Beverly clip, and that kind of like leads into, okay, well, we're finally getting a an interview from Lucy, words straight from her mouth,
Hmm.
unlike like what grandma said, nobody has ever
Ever done
heard,
it.
like she's never interviewed before.
Yeah. And so Lucy kind of gives like a very quick, like, I took a bath and it was just a calm day leading up to the wedding. Like nothing major happened. We left for the wedding at 5. And then my next memory is of the man finding me walking on the road the next morning. And when he addressed me, I thought that I was walking to the car with Savvy.
Mhm.
And I was like, "That is so odd that you even thought Savvy was with you."
Yeah, so you can tell that her memories stopped
Mhm.
being created at a
Yeah.
very early point in the evening of the night before. And something else is like he asks Lucy about Savvy, as he asks everyone, and
Mhm.
she also lies or, paints this rosy picture of Savvy like
Mhm.
everybody else does. She doesn't disparage her at all or say that she had a dark side or anything like
Yeah.
that, which we figured she would.
Yeah.
Keep it that way, especially after her discussion with Maya about how she
Mhm.
wasn't going to reveal any dark secrets.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't have a lot of details, and she is very upfront, and we expected that,
Yeah.
right? We knew she wasn't going to have a bunch of detail. She's
Mhm.
keeping her story consistent. And she's like, that's all I know.
Yeah.
After that, you know everything I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you've seen it all unfold. Um, and so we see, right after she said, "I'm thinking about killing you."
Hmm.
We see them back together in the hotel room, and she tells Ben about the intrusive thoughts of, murdering with the random weapons
Objects.
and
Mhm.
objects and all that kind of stuff. Um, And this is where I really question Ben.
I wrote Ben is a creeper because
Uh-huh.
he's kind of into it.
Not just kind of.
Uh, yeah, that's putting it lightly. I put he's a creeper.
Yep.
These two are a bad combo.
Yes, they are.
Really, really bad combination because that kind of inspires another Fade to Black scene. I wrote down, does Ben know about Troy? Because he kind of has this. I forget what he says, but he says something to allude to that maybe Savvy wasn't as
Mm,
sweet, as peachy as everybody paints her, and so
mhm.
he is an investigative journalist.
Yep.
And if he looked into her, maybe he has found something somewhere.
Maybe.
But I feel like that's an open question.
Sure is. Yeah. So the next part that we see is Lucy back with her mom. Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. We love Kathleen. And this is where, I mean, let's be honest. We've already been very open. We don't like this woman. Okay. Kathleen is a very bad mom. I've said it. Okay.
Hmm.
She, in this moment, is defending Nina more than she has ever defended her daughter.
Well, that's what I put down. I put the mom is worrying about everybody else, but
Yes.
not Lucy.
She even defended Matt more than she defended Lucy.
So, like, I don't understand her mentality
Mm-mm.
at all. If she's just trying to find a way to cope with not being able to protect her daughter or something, she can't fully process that all of these
Mm-hmm.
bad things happen to
Yep.
her. Um, and so she just chooses to believe that it's not true,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just awful.
Yeah.
And Kathleen is finally honest about Savvy,
Yeah.
and that kind of makes me wonder if she knows something.
Yeah. Because she asks if he has any hard evidence to the murder or whatever. And Lucy's like, yeah, I don't think he does. Like, he hasn't told me anything.
Hmm.
And she's like, well, they can't charge you unless he uncovers something new. And it's like, oof,
It's like, girl, what?
oof. Yeah.
And then we slip into the next episode, episode 7 of the podcast.
Yes, where we're getting more of Lucy's interview.
Yeah, and we talk about how the parents didn't defend her, and
Mm-hmm.
that's so disturbing. And her husband also didn't stand up for her. No
Mm-hmm.
one stood up for her after she was released from the hospital. Everybody
Yeah.
was like, her mom was, which we've already hashed this out in episode 1 or in our previous episode,
Mm-hmm.
um, that her mom even like tried to force her to confess and like
Yes.
take her to different places. And it was so
Yeah.
like, ugh. But then Ben presses her,
Mm-hmm.
and he presses her so hard and it makes her look worse. And I feel like his questions weren't really that fair.
Mm-mm.
Well, while he was like badgering her,
Yeah.
why would so we talk about her being hysterical and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, and it's like, why would she have that reaction if she killed
Yeah.
her?
Yeah.
You could theorize that maybe she's faking it or trying to play it up,
Mm-hmm.
but like going out to where they found her body and she like
Mm-hmm.
faints and like has this visceral reaction, like that's trauma. We
Yeah.
talked about that last episode.
Yeah.
And why would she have that reaction
Mm-hmm.
unless like she witnessed something or
Yeah.
experienced something traumatic?
Yeah. Well, part of this interview too that was a little eye-opening to me is that um so they mentioned that like her dad's overprotectiveness, right?
Mhm.
Like she could never talk to anybody unless her dad was hovering or in the room present at all times. And it made her more confused and made her feel like this devastation that she was probably guilty. Her dad knew something that she couldn't
Mhm.
remember or whatever. And same thing about Matt. Matt kicked her out. She felt like she was guilty without actually telling her something,
Mhm.
and so she revealed that that she was going to therapy. And the therapist told her that their disbelief in her could have actually caused her to forget the time before her brain injury
Mhm.
and everything. So like all of that stress compiled
Mhm.
could have led to more trauma for her. So it's just
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's just like devastation after devastation. This poor
Mhm.
woman. And it's like who actually was there anybody on her side?
Well, on the one hand, I feel like Dawn hovering and like making sure somebody was there with her does feel like an appropriate response.
Right.
I mean, the energy he seemed to give off didn't feel great, but him being there and saying, "No, I don't want anybody talking to her," that
Mhm.
feels like at least a parental move, unlike her mom, who was
Right.
just like, "Anybody can come in and talk to her. You can badger her. You can do whatever."
Yes.
But him, like, wanting to be present
Mhm.
makes at least it felt like somebody was trying to do something.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just she to me, if I was in her shoes, I would feel so utterly alone. And to
Mhm.
not be able to remember would just yeah, compound
Yeah.
everything. Like
Yeah.
how did you expect her to come out of this even semi okay?
Yeah. And then Ben does kind of, force her a little bit here. And so then we see after this snippet of the interview where Lucy's finally like, you know what? You're right. I've kind of avoided this. I'm done. Meet me at the bird estate. We're going to go, instead of going
Mhm.
to the murder scene, let's step back through the wedding venue.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can jog some memories of what happened that night because clearly I can't remember anything after arriving there.
Woof.
Yeah, woof. So she and Ben get there. I want to say they meet there. Maybe they don't drive together. Can't remember. It doesn't matter. But she invited Matt to come too, which,
Hoping that his presence would help jog the memory, walk me through it, because he
yeah,
was the one that was supposed to be with her basically the whole time, besides Savvy, who obviously we can't ask.
nope, we can't.
Which
And
sounds like a ticking time bomb.
it
Matt,
does.
Lucy, and Ben at the venue, ticking time bomb.
Yes. So yeah, the tension is already high. So Matt does, start to walk her through it. They're out in the parking lot. He's like, "Yeah, we met with the Nelsons, this other couple. We had small talk. We went to, the wedding was indoor, and we were sitting over here by the bar." And Savvy kind of gets a little memory of that because she can kind of like hear Colin being stoked, like, "Oh, we're so close to the drinks."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and whatnot. And so as they're like kind of walking around, she's getting like little flashes of things here and there of Savvy and Lucy together. And she can't really remember a lot of being inside the wedding venue itself. And so they start walking over towards the bathrooms. And Lucy gets a flash. She doesn't share it with anybody though,
Mm-hmm.
um, because Matt had said, "Yeah, you went like missing for a little while. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know where you were." Savvy was sitting by herself at the table, or maybe Colin was there, but like I looked over, I was on the dance floor, but you weren't there. I looked over again, like, and you still
Mm-hmm.
weren't back. And so she's like, "Well, maybe I went to the bathroom." So they walked over towards the bathroom area, and she got this little memory jog. And she can picture herself as they walk through this area
Mm-hmm.
outside of the wedding venue, and she's possibly making out with somebody and gets interrupted by Savvy. And Savvy is super upset about it. And
Mm-hmm.
now we know Savvy and her had some sort of fight that night, but she cannot picture the man she's kissing, but she clearly remembers that it wasn't Matt. And that's kind of where that memory kind of like ends. And I'm like, "Ooh, is this Kyle from before or is this going to be somebody else?"
I wrote down um why do I feel like this has something to do with Emmett or
Mhm.
Keaton? Because if you find your best friend making out with your older brother, like that
Yep.
might be weird. Also, making out with Emmett,
Mhm.
at, like, your husband's having affairs. Like, I thought we weren't going to do
Mhm.
that. Somebody did say previously, I can't remember if it's Lucy or someone else, that she thought she was mad. She thought Savvy was mad because she found her making out with her husband. So I
Mhm.
thought when she said she was kissing somebody, oh, this is the husband.
Yeah.
This is Matt. And then she says, oh,
It
this
was
was
not.
not Matt.
Yeah, it's like, "Holy crap, how many men you kissing
So
at this wedding?"
yeah, I was very intrigued as to who this could be,
Yeah.
because it obviously wasn't Colin either.
Yeah. Well, and then I was also wondering too, and when she's talking about this, when she talked about the memory of not going home with Emmett that night when they were at the bar together just a few
Mhm.
chapters ago. I was like, was she misremembering that moment for this
Mm,
moment?
that's also possible.
But who knows, right?
Mhm.
So then we see them leave the wedding
Mhm.
venue. She did not she was like, Ben and Matt were both like, Are you remembering something? Like, what's going on?" And she said no, but Matt gives her a look like,
Mhm.
mm-hmm. And she goes to Matt's after this event.
Goes inside this time
Yeah,
and accepts a drink from him.
girlfriend.
Also, we find out that he has not changed anything in the house.
Creepy.
So again, it was like he just tried to replace Lucy with Julia and keep
Mm-hmm.
everything the same. And again, the woman cannot make a good decision if
Mm-hmm.
it was the only choice she had. So she starts drinking with him.
Yep.
And I'm like, he's an abusive piece of crap. And
And
he
that he
has a,
gets worse when he drinks.
exactly, he has a drinking problem. And you're like, yeah, sure. Miss,
Let's.
I'm a lightweight too.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, she he's like, "You remembered something, didn't you?" And so she tells him a little bit of the memory, and Matt thinks that she was kissing Colin. And I'm
Hmm.
like, no, because Colin was clearly at the table,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever. And Matt's like, "What happened to us?"
He needs to get off it. He cannot stop trying to like be on her and touch her, and
Mhm.
it's such a bad idea, and she kind of lets it happen.
Yeah,
Now that could be a trauma response,
it could be.
but also I think it is partially her trying to jog memories too, which is not
Mhm.
the best plan.
Yeah, to, like, almost confirm that it wasn't him that
Yes.
she was kissing the night of the wedding during this
Mm-hmm.
particular memory.
Right.
Yeah. And this also jogs a memory for her, though, this
Mm-hmm.
whole little scene here.
So I guess it works.
It does, because she knows that Matt saw her in the woods outside of the wedding venue in the bloody dress. And there's a lot of details because this little flashback isn't as short as the one that she got before, um, where Matt runs into her. She's got this large tree branch in her hand, and Matt's saying to her, "Well, she tried to hurt you."
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't have a clear recollection of anything besides
Mm-hmm.
dropping this tree branch
That has blood on it.
and running.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is Matt obviously knows more than he's saying,
Yes.
and he has a history of gaslighting women.
Mhm.
So, could he have told her this? Could he have made something up even though he's
Mhm.
the real culprit?
Yep.
Again, I feel like he's too obvious, but like we keep getting more and more evidence that is stacking up against him. He was obviously
Yes.
there in some capacity, and he knows way more than he's saying.
Mhm.
And he has gaslit her before and
Yeah.
altered her memories. He knows that her brain is not great,
Yeah.
and that she has had multiple injuries. And so, did he tell her things
Mhm.
in order to try to manipulate her into letting him get away with something? And we
Yeah.
still don't know.
Yeah.
We're getting closer
We're getting
though. I'm
closer.
so excited.
Yeah. He admits to hiding the tree branch as a way of protecting her, but I did write here that
Mhm.
I feel like he's almost trying to frame Lucy for this to
Mhm.
protect somebody else. Like, is he protecting Nina? Is he
Mhm.
protecting like somebody else that he knows has done this?
Mhm.
Because it just feels way, I don't know, just icky, just
Mhm.
icky. And then we do get a 5 year ago
Yes.
from Lucy
Mhm.
here, a fight that happened between Matt and Lucy prior to them leaving for the wedding. Remember when she said she had just, a nice, relaxing bath?
Mhm. Yeah, no.
No. Um, Savvy gets upset with her because she's kissing Matt. Savvy
Mhm.
is upset with Lucy because
Right.
she's kissing
Mhm.
Matt in the parking lot area-ish, right outside the wedding venue during the wedding or whatever. She's like, "I cannot believe that you are making out with this man," and, like, storms off or whatever,
Mhm.
because here they are fighting about all this stuff. That bath wasn't a bath. He tried
Mm-mm.
drowning her in the bathtub earlier that day.
Mhm. And just kind of, and they still go to the wedding like nothing happened. And that's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Mhm.
Um I don't have a ton of notes from this, but I wrote
Oh, I
down it's Emmett. I'm telling you, that's who she was
Mhm.
kissing.
Mhm. Well, I have another thing that I wrote down here too, because when Savvy stormed away and Matt's trying to get Lucy to go with her. A familiar voice interrupts Matt and Lucy from having a fight,
Mhm.
and I wrote down, "Is that familiar voice Emmett?"
Mhm.
And then that's where my Emmett theory comes in as well. So you keep going, and then we'll see how.
That's what I had.
Oh, okay. I said, for here, I was like, what could the motive or purpose be here? Because I'm still trying to put, we don't have a
Mhm.
lot, like it's very superficial. Again,
Mhm.
a lot of times in murder mysteries, it's somebody that you don't get a lot of
Yeah, which
that's
is
just
what.
kind of thrown in there.
Exactly.
And I'm wondering too, like, is it partially an accidental thing? Does it start out accidental and become something more?
Mhm.
So let's see, what do my notes here say? Well, we know that he's always kind of had a crush or been in love with Lucy.
Emmett.
Yes, Emmett has. Um, did Lucy at some point tell him of their, murder plan and he tried to stop or convince them to stop? He's
Mhm.
always been adamant that Lucy was innocent, and he's the only person that ever reached out to her after the murder.
Mhm.
You can tell that he hates Matt. So did he intend to frame Matt, but it all went wrong?
Mhm.
And then he never left Plumpton like he planned, and he's dating Nina now. So there feels like there's some sort of like maybe guilt complex or like
Mhm.
everlasting hope. I don't even know. But something feels off here.
True. And I feel like they have this weird like tensiony thing. He's also very much depicted as the nice guy. And
Yes.
oftentimes, but not in the way Matt is. It's not like he
No.
was charismatic and everybody was drawn to him. It's more like he's the nice guy. He was my always my friend, and
Mhm.
a lot of times those those men feel some sense of entitlement and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So there could be a dark underbelly there
Yeah.
too.
Um, I feel like we've theorized about him a lot, so I'm just gonna move
It
poor little
feels like
Emmett.
Vi.
We get back with Lucy,
Mhm.
and she gives her theory to us, where she told Savvy that she didn't want to do the murder.
Mhm.
She didn't want to murder her husband. But maybe Savvy tried anyway, and Lucy tried stopping her and accidentally murdered her. And that's why she was running away. And that's all of in Lucy's head because of what Matt has just
Yeah.
told her, but also the brief flash that she's getting of some of her memories being jogged here. So
Mhm.
also nothing solid in Lucy's memories. She's just getting these little itty bitty fragments that are very, far apart from each other. We're
Mhm.
seeing her hours before at the wedding making
Yeah.
out with someone, she hasn't remembered who it is yet, to then holding a bloody tree branch and running away and Matt seeing her. Like, that's literally
Mhm.
all she's physically remembered, and she's trying to connect those two pieces.
But we're getting closer to, like, we're zeroing in on
Yes.
the point of the murder.
Yes.
But she then decides to go home,
Yeah.
which, like, what?
Huh?
And we've
Why?
found out that Matt is the reason that her parents think that she did it.
Of
He
course.
went to them and told them that he saw her with this tree branch and basically said he saw her do it,
Mhm.
and they believed him over
Yep.
her, which I think is absolutely
It's
nuts.
gross.
And the dad is so awful. He literally says you have to do the best with the info you have.
Mhm.
And so that's what he said.
Yeah.
Like, he took Matt at his word,
Mhm.
and that's why he's been so uncomfortable around her, and he was
Yeah.
sure that she did it, and that's why he hovered
Yep.
and watched everything she said, because he was waiting for her to remember and admit or
Mhm.
say something that would implicate her,
Yep.
because he thought for sure she did it. Her husband said so. He's acting this way, and just
Mhm.
ran with that. How could you? How could you? Of course, to them, they're like, he's such a sweet guy and all this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And they didn't realize what a piece of crap he was.
Yeah. Well, and mom wanted to tell the cops right away, and
Mm-hmm.
her dad and Matt had to convince her to help them cover it up.
Kathleen, ma'am.
But thank God for grandma,
Mm-hmm.
because here she is devastated learning all of this. She
Yeah.
goes to grandma's to have dinner and asks her, like, did Matt tell you to? Like, do you think I'm guilty? And grandma's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Still think that you are innocent. You haven't remembered everything.
Mm-hmm.
And just like sister, like she starts crying. Lucy finally
Yeah.
breaks, and her grandma's just sitting there going, don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
God bless Beverly. Oh,
Although I was a little, I was a little annoyed by grandma, because she does take Ben's side of
oh,
things a little bit. Um, and that is like her one departure of being in Lucy's corner. But for the most part, I love grandma.
yes. So later, still the same night, maybe it's the next morning. I can't remember. Everything starts going really fast here
Oh
because
yeah.
we're like boom,
Mm-hmm.
boom, boom, boom,
We're
boom.
getting close,
We're getting
friends.
close. And Emmett is outside. Is it outside the art shop? Outside one of the shops, and he's like painting on the windows. He's designing this flower on the
Yeah.
window.
She leaves grandma's house and is like driving through town
Yeah.
and sees it, like stops to like
Yes.
talk to him.
Yeah. And um she starts having a little bit of a conversation. So she's like letting some of her feelings out. Like, she's very emotional. She thought she had got all the tears out and she hadn't. And he like makes this really weird choice to like come in and kiss her. And it's not a good kiss.
Well, and Lucy, like, everybody feels like they're forcing themselves on Lucy.
Yeah.
Matt's done it twice. Emmett has now done it. She was obviously making out with some dude in um at the wedding, and like, she she lets it happen. And again, this could be a trauma response, but
Mm-hmm.
like, she just kind of like freezes and lets him kiss her.
Uh-huh.
I wrote
Uh-huh.
I wrote down, this is a town of hoes. They all should get tested, because, and miss, I was okay with the unprotected girl. You need to be careful.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting around with everybody.
Yes. Well, this icky kiss is happening, and Nina
Mm,
interrupts them.
there she is.
There she is. And so Emma and her walk into the art
Yeah.
store to have a little
Mm-hmm.
conversation. And that kiss, plus the flecks of paint that are like on him, make her realize that Emmett was the person that she was kissing at the wedding.
Yes.
And uh,
it
So
triggers a flashback.
it triggers a flashback, and Savvy is upset in this flashback because she's concerned over her friend and the choices that she's making.
Mhm.
She goes, um, "You're acting like me right now. You're kissing all of these different men. I really am concerned here. You're having
Mhm.
this like victim talk, like I deserve it, I deserve him, blah blah blah. Um, Emmett holds you in this perfect light. They're having this like blah 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 blah, blah conversation, and Savvy's like, "Well, I need to tell you something.
Mhm.
Um, I I slept with Emmett. She she broke the friend code."
She tells Lucy that she slept with Emmett, and Emmett is not who he portrays himself to be,
Uh-uh.
and that Emmett is actually kind of the creepy nice guy that
Uh
we
huh.
mentioned earlier, and that the the he's terrible basically, and they had rough sex and it wasn't good, and
Yeah.
then he kept like coming back too
Mm-hmm.
savvy to try to like
Yep.
keep things going, and when she expressed that she didn't
Yep.
want it, he like flipped
Yes.
quickly.
Yes.
And so we're starting to see that Emmett is what we thought he could
Could
be.
be. Yeah.
Especially like you think they
Mm-hmm.
had like a crush, or he's had a crush on her since high school,
Mm-hmm.
and she should have been with me, and I've kissed her before and it just never was the right time, and I'm better than her husband because he
Yeah.
somewhat found out about he knew they were fighting. Oh.
Yeah. So they're sitting in Savvy's car having this conversation. And while they're having this conversation, she's divulging this. They do see Emmett drive off. And if you remember this tiny detail, he was at the wedding still helping people leave at 3 a.m. when the flooding was happening. So, minor discrepancy here. But they're
Mhm.
making plans
Yeah.
because remember, she had just said to Savvy, like, I don't
Mhm.
want to kill my husband. Like, I don't want, that's not the route. And
Yeah.
so they make plans to leave together. And they're like, tomorrow, let's do it tomorrow. Like, let's
Mhm.
just go, me and you together. And it was actually Savvy's idea to go to LA.
LA.
It was
Mhm.
her dream. And so they're making these exact plans when they get a knock on the car window and they're interrupted by someone.
Mhm.
And I wrote down here, this is going to be Emmett. He's going to be
Mhm.
raging and kill her.
So he like we know they were kissing, we know he's a creeper.
Yep.
Um and they have these plans, and have heard that he drove off, that he was on the road with them, and nobody really talked about where he was.
Hmm.
They talk about him being at the wedding much later,
Yes.
but they don't talk about him in the meantime. It's just kind of assumed that he was there the whole time because people saw him
Yeah.
helping others
Yeah.
leave. And so then we go back to like present
Hmm.
time, like snapped her out of it.
Yeah.
And he is, I wrote down he's piece crap.
Yeah.
Emmett is piece crap, and he defended Lucy because he knew what
Hmm.
happened the
Hmm.
whole time.
Yeah. Lucy is watching the interaction that he is having with Nina inside the store.
They're fighting.
They're fighting, just having like a verbal fight or whatever. And she sees Nina stand and like brace herself.
Mhm.
And Lucy recognizes
Yeah.
the type of bracing that Nina is doing because she had done it many times right before Matt hit her.
Yep.
And so she makes the correlation that Emmett is probably abusive and she just never realized it, never saw it, just like in, these other circumstances.
Mhm.
And that leads her into more of her flashback. So,
Mhm.
mind you, when I say that Lucy and Savvy were in the car together, and they're not just like parked outside of the venue,
Yeah.
they're driving down that service road. Remember, it hadn't
Mhm.
started raining yet. Um,
This is them leaving the wedding.
yes, this is when they were leaving the wedding together. And as they're driving, they have to stop because Emmett, his car is blocking the road. and he is wanting to talk to Lucy.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Lucy decides to get out of the car. Poor choices, but here we are.
Yeah, he's like, "Come on, get out." And Savvy's like, "Don't do it."
Mhm.
But Lucy's like, "It's fine. It's just Emmett.
Mhm.
I'll be out, or I'm just going to get out for a second and talk to him. I'll be right back. Just keep
Mhm.
the car running," basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Girl, you in danger, girl.
Yeah.
Don't let her get out of that car."
Yeah. So she walks off with him and he starts leading her into the foresty woods area just a little bit, and he starts forcing another kiss on her.
Mhm.
And starts giving her this narrative where he could like basically rescue her from her
Mhm.
marriage, and it was always meant to be us, and I know you love me and I've always loved you. It's very uncomfortable. And you kind of get the feel that this is going on for a bit. And Lucy is
Mhm.
definitely like telling him no, trying to get away
Mhm.
from it. And Savvy interrupts and
Yeah.
tries to get Lucy out of the situation.
Yeah.
And Emmett gets physical.
So Emmett is very entitled.
Yes.
He is basically like, "You've led me on to some
Hmm.
degree. We've kissed a few times. Like, you know that this is actually what you want," and all this kind of stuff. So he's definitely the nice guy that's awful and feels entitled to her.
Hmm.
And Lucy sticks up for herself, and
Hmm.
um she does like punch him.
Yes.
And Savvy's like, "Okay, come on, let's go." Savvy
Hmm.
is there to try to like interrupts it, and then they kind of run off together. But
Yeah.
it's like, will this be an accident during the fight?
Right.
We don't get that yet. It cuts off before
Hmm.
we get the actual, they're both still alive and they're trying to get back to the car.
Yep.
And then we get back to Lucy. She's back in her car,
Yeah.
after Nina has run off
Hmm.
with the fight, and Emmett has come back up
Yes.
to the window.
Yes. And Ben has called her and she's on the phone with Ben, and she
Mhm.
kind of like tells him where she's at or whatever. And Emmett's involved a little bit with this conversation, and he can tell by her face that she's remembered.
Mhm.
And like takes her phone and ends the call with her like, "Hey, like, sorry, like Lucy's having a moment," and puts
Mhm.
her phone in his pocket.
Yeah.
And everything in me screams run. And I'm looking at our suspects over there and I want to take everybody but Emmett down.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty solid here
Yep.
now. She then has another flashback, and it's terrifying.
Yes.
They're running through the woods. It's Emmett chasing them. He's a crazed man at this point. Remember, they've all been drinking.
Mhm.
And they're trying to get away. He feels like he's entitled. We've seen now his mask slip, and that he is actually has a much darker underbelly. And he has a hammer. Where did he get this hammer?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
how did Matt not see more
Yeah.
of what was happening?
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden he's running, and she says that he has a massive hammer, and it's
Mhm.
like,
Yes.
y'all are in the woods. Like, how did he did this? Is
Yep.
this Thor's hammer? Did he call it? Like, what? How? Where did this come from?
Yeah. Well, and here we get some of the information of some of that evidence that kind of damned Lucy at the beginning as well.
Hmm.
Because when Emmett lunged for them uh, and
Yeah.
ended up punching Savvy, Lucy was holding on to Savvy at the time, and they
Hmm.
fell together. And so her hand that was holding her ended up like
Scraping.
scraping
Hmm.
down her arm, which is how she got those scratches, and how her fingerprints are on her arm, and how there is Savvy's skin underneath
Hmm.
Lucy's nails.
Fingernails.
And
Hmm.
so the original theory that the police had that they were both victims in this was the
Yeah.
actual the actual way this had gone down. So they take off again, trying to get back to the venue, and realize that they've gone in the wrong direction. And yeah, this like heavy metal block, whatever, he hits a tree first, going after Savvy. He gets Lucy with the hammer.
Mhm.
He goes for a second time, and Savvy pushes her out of the way.
Mhm.
And Emmett hits Savvy. And then you hear Matt in the background. You don't see him yet,
Mhm.
calling for all of them.
Mhm.
And when I say all of them, he's even calling for Emmett.
Mhm. So if he wasn't that far away, how did he know that Emmett was there?
Yeah.
Two, how did he not see more of what was going on?
Yeah.
But then it cuts off and we're
Yep.
back in present day and Emmett is gaslighting her. And
Yes.
is like, that's not what really happened. You're not
Mhm.
remembering correctly. And it's so insidious. And it makes me want to both hurl, like I felt physically ill,
Yes.
but also like I want to punch him. And
Mhm.
Lucy does. Get him, girl. Like
Yep.
she goes after him. She knows this is not going to be good.
Mhm. Well, and I also too, before we keep going, I want to know what Emmett said to Matt to make him like to convince him.
Well, yeah, I want to know what that situation was. That's my question. Like, how did Matt not see
How,
more?
yeah.
Did Matt see Emmett or not?
Or did he just see the both of
The
their
truck.
cars,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how he knew Emmett was there? Like, I need to
Mm-hmm.
know. Yep. Um, I think one of my favorite things right here, though, is that Lucy, being who Lucy is, she didn't just punch him.
Yeah.
She has an all-out brawl
Oh
with
yeah.
Emmett in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of this street. Um, and Emmett goes running back into the store and gets the same fucking hammer.
Yeah, him going back to his truck in the thing, in
A
the
flashback.
flashback, him going back to his truck for a hammer is
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Like
Yes.
he went, this was intent.
Yes.
And I mean, obviously Ben knows where she is, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, Ben is coming for her. She just has to make it
Yeah.
to like whenever help comes.
Yes.
And so she he's really good at the nice guy thing
Yep.
though. And so he flips. Like she's crazy. She attacked me.
As soon
Something
as Ben shows up.
happened
Mhm.
once Ben shows up. But he's really great at the innocent act, but
Mhm.
then his mask slips sometimes.
Oh, you're right. He
Mhm.
because he ran in, he got the hammer or whatever. They're fighting,
Mhm.
and when Ben does show up, Emmett tries to pin it on the entire situation on Lucy.
Mhm.
She's lost it. She's fucking lost it. She's trying to kill me.
Mhm.
And Ben pauses and like looks between the two of them. And here we get a different kind of fade to black moment, because we see that he picks up the hammer because it had gotten away from the two of them. They're kind of like,
Mhm.
like the scenes in the movies where they're all
Yeah, they're
reaching for the
scrabbling.
gun.
Mhm.
This time it's the hammer. And this is where you're like, okay, Ben's got a maniacal side to him. Like,
Yeah.
clearly
Mhm.
we've seen some uncanny tendencies. And he gives the hammer
To
to
Lucy.
Lucy.
Mhm.
And then we just wake up to Lucy at the hospital with Ben talking to the police.
Yeah, so we don't get the closure I wanted.
Mm-mm.
But and don't get me wrong, Lucy beats the crap out of I almost said Ben, out of Emmett.
Yeah.
He is also injured bad. So
Yes.
they're both at the hospital. But Emmett sucks and deserves to
Ugh.
not be believed. He
Yeah.
tries to say that she did it all, she flipped out, it was
Mm-hmm.
her, blah blah blah. Um, but people aren't exactly believing that.
No.
There are some people that will believe it, but most people are not believing it anymore.
Yeah. And so Ben's talking to the police, lying, saying that Emmett tried to kill Lucy once.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like using his true crime podcast persona and his evidence, yada yada yada,
Yeah.
to kind of sway it or whatever. And Lucy, once the police leave, kind of call him out for it, like, you you can't prove anything.
Mhm.
And I love this because, she has said this whole time,
Mhm.
Savvy has said it,
Yep.
we found it from her, the truth doesn't matter. And he finally says, the truth is whatever you say it is.
Right. Mhm.
And so I do love that little twist because the right people are going to get what they
Mhm.
need, and it is the truth. He did commit the murder. He has attacked her. He attacked her here. He is
Mhm.
not the person that everybody thinks he is. Speaking of Emmett, um, Lucy confronts Matt about the night of Savvy's murder,
Mhm.
and like basically calls him out for being the piece of shit that he is.
Yeah, finally.
Um, and even kind of like sidesteps her parents when she's leaving the hospital and
Mhm.
everything because she was like, you should have done more. And it's like, the cops are gonna want to talk to the three of you. And I'm like, get it.
Exactly. And there's a point made that it's so true about Matt and her parents never protecting her. They
Mm-hmm.
never protected her, and really the only person that truly tried to protect her was Savvy.
Yeah.
And it's so like it gives you goosebumps because she went through so much and so many people had this terrible perception of her and just fed her to the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that was always in her corner is the one everybody suspected that she killed,
Yeah.
and Savvy died protecting her and trying
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that she was okay.
Yeah.
And I think that, you go through this whole book um, wondering if she could have killed her best
Mm-hmm.
friend. And really, at the end, it was the importance of her female friendship that
Mm-hmm.
basically saved
Saves
her
her.
life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We get the final episode of the podcast.
Hmm.
And this is where we get a little bit of some wrap up details. We find out that Emmett has been arrested for Savvy's murder.
Hmm.
Matt, Kathleen, and Dawn are charged with withholding evidence, which,
Hmm.
good, they should. I don't care if it's her parents.
Well, especially for making her feel ostracized and guilty
Yes.
all of this time. They deserve, because like it wasn't even that they withheld the evidence also from the police, but
Mm-hmm.
they didn't even tell her why they
Mm-mm.
thought she did it,
Mm-mm.
which is terrible.
Yeah. Beverly, I just wrote down that Beverly's the best grandmother ever because she's, sitting here
Hmm.
like, I know my grandmother was innocent the whole time.
Well, and we get a little snippet from Ivy,
Yes.
Savvy's mom,
Oh,
which is terrible. She was gung ho
yes.
to pin it on Lucy, but
Sure
she
was.
is so hesitant to believe that Emmett was the one that killed her, and that's such BS.
Yep.
Like she had a vendetta against Lucy for so long. Like yes, of course it was Lucy,
Mm-hmm.
but no, it couldn't be sweet Emmett. There's no way he would have hurt my daughter.
Yeah.
And but
I don't
there's
want to rush judgment. Ugh.
exactly, and that made me so angry.
Yeah, I was pissed. There's also this like little snippet interview with Joanna Clarkson, the one
Hmm.
of the neighbors from their old neighborhood,
Yeah.
and she's like all suspicious that Lucy suddenly remembers, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
and then Ben was like, "Well, I was with her, and when she got these memories, and
Hmm.
I saw the fight between Emmett and him confessing, and yada yada
Hmm.
yada," and all of a sudden her like
Tune
demeanor, yeah,
changes.
her tune changes, and I'm
Hmm.
like, oh.
Yeah, it's like Lucy's the bad guy, but you can't blame her parents. They were just trying to protect her or whatever. And but Lucy's allowed to bear the brunt of the blame and
Mm-mm.
perception, and like your popularity
Yep.
is so huge in this town and in this case. And it's like they were good people, they
Mhm.
shouldn't be charged. And it's like, but they did something, but their daughter is allowed to be
Mhm.
unjustly accused
Yep.
basically for the last 6 years, 5 years. And we kind of hear a little bit from Lucy,
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, you need to be more angry. I think she's just so relieved to know
Yes.
what happened, but she is not mad enough, in my opinion.
I agree. I think there is a lot of relief
Yeah.
here. She mentions regretting not coming back sooner to be able
Yeah.
to, figure this out and go through it. She wished she had trusted herself and not the others around her.
Yeah.
And she came to the revelation that Matt never told her parents about Emmett being around that night,
Mm-hmm.
which probably would have been a major game changer on her parents' perspective of the whole thing,
True.
which would have changed how a lot of events occurred, I
Mm-hmm.
think, right after Savvy's murder.
Very true. And also, part of me wonders if Emmett being there was another reason that Matt kicked her out. Like,
Maybe.
did he suspect something? But anyway, it's interesting because then we hear a little bit more about how people are taking the Emmett charges.
Mm-hmm.
And people are already out there trying to say that she framed Emmett and that there are like conspiracies or theories out there brewing, and he's already starting to appeal or like build a defense against her
People
or
are the
like
worst.
for himself. And so it's still that perception of her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one thing we didn't talk about at all is that everybody found out that her Eva Knightley
Yes.
books, they actually increased in
Yep.
sales.
Sure did.
And
Sure did.
so they were selling out more and more copies. Her agents did call her and say, or her agent did call her and say, like, don't worry, we're restocking, like it's
Yeah.
going well. And so maybe her writing career isn't dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the end, there's still, even though we found out what happens, there's
Yeah.
still like people out there that are willing to say that she's a cold killer,
Yeah.
and that Emmett is just another victim of
Uh,
Lucy Chase.
yeah. So she's leaving to go back to LA, where Ben also happens to live.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go on a date.
He does ask her if he
Mm-hmm.
can contact her so they can have a drink once they're both back in LA. And we know Lucy.
Yep.
Of course, she's going to agree.
And I have to say, I don't know, Grandma approves of him, so maybe he is decent. I mean, Grandma called it on Matt, so
I mean, if she's an adult and
yep.
if you feel comfortable, go for it, girly. Just be careful because we've seen
Yeah.
we've seen the type of men you choose, and they all wear masks that slip, and we have a little bit of a creepometer on him, a worrisome meter on him
Yes.
going.
Yes.
It may not be super high, and he did help you figure it
Yes.
out, and he did hand you the hammer instead of Emmett, but
Yep. 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 So you
um,
got a couple things going for you.
just be a little wary.
Yeah. I think my favorite part to the ending, though, of this book is that her image of Savvy finally changed. She's no longer seeing her bloody,
Mm-hmm.
disgruntled, and in the dress from
The
the
wedding.
wedding. She's seeing Savvy as Savvy again.
Mm-hmm.
And she's changed back now that she has figured out what has happened to her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah.
And that brings us to the end.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good mystery, and honestly, this was one of the better ones that I've read in a
Yeah.
while. Like we said earlier, like I didn't want to put it down
No.
while I was reading it. I didn't guess everything
Mm-mm.
that was coming. It did follow a line that I thought it was going to, but there were some great twists and
Yes.
turns. I liked the element of the fact, like the ending
Mm-hmm.
where the female friendship is what saved her from
Yeah.
all of these terrible men. And like, it was just, I really enjoyed Lucy as a
I
character
did too.
and her humor and her sarcasm and like how she kind of dealt with
Mm-hmm.
everything through like dark humor that kind
Yeah.
of drew me in. And not knowing, having those like thoughts kind of making you second guess whether
Mm-hmm.
she did it or not. Like I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that, and I thought it was a good way to pull this like almost not quite a red herring, but a
Mhm.
little bit like you always have this suspicion that she did it,
Yeah.
like tingling in the back of your brain because she's constantly thinking about
Murder.
murdering people.
Well, yeah, I think one of the things that I enjoyed with Lucy's character is the brain trauma element.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think that that was done really well because it was looked into, it was given to us, and we got to kind of question that as readers throughout. Um, it made me question her sanity or her likelihood of being, a
Yeah.
murderer.
Hmm.
I also loved the dual perspectives of this, going back and forth between Lucy and the podcast. I loved
Hmm.
the audiobook. I thought the narration for it was
Yeah.
superb. And it was, I agree with you, one of the better mysteries that I've read in a while. So um I would definitely read more things by this author,
Hmm.
to give more of her things a try.
I would too. I also really liked at the end that it was the nice guy.
Yeah.
You know, oftentimes I feel like you hear a lot about that in true crime, and you also hear a lot about that in not as much in media, but I liked that it was somebody that you weren't exactly expecting, but it was a
Mhm.
realistic storyline.
Yeah.
I think that really pulled me in. But I would definitely read more by Amy Tintera.
Yeah.
I will be looking into her backlist. I don't know if this was her debut, but I will definitely be looking into her backlist or looking out for her next book.
Yes.
We
For
hope
sure.
that you enjoyed this as well. Were
Yeah.
you also correct on who you thought did it? Did you have any suspicions of Emmett before the big reveal? What were your favorite parts? And what other theories did you have along the way? Because I
Mhm.
think that was one of my favorite parts of reading this particular book was writing down my different
Yes.
theories and going down some rabbit holes.
Yeah, all the speculations.
Hmm.
Yep. And then be ready for us to change some genres here for you.
Hmm.
When you join us next time, we will be giving you a little look into cozies, not just fantasies, but cozies across genres, some books that we have enjoyed. And then we will be deep diving into one of our favorite authors, Sarah Beth Durst, and reading along The Enchanted Greenhouse. We hope that you will read with us.
See you next time.